The sea is full of horrors and mysteries deeper than our imaginations. If you dive only 3,500 meters deep in the ocean, you will probably discover one or two unknown new species of animals that are unknown even to scientists. Because humans have been able to explore only 5% of the ocean's area till date. The remaining 95% is still unknown to us. The most amazing thing is that we have much better maps of Mars, which is 54 million kilometers away from Earth, but we still don't have any detailed maps of the ocean. What is even more amazing is that 12 astronauts spend a total of 300 hours on the moon, but only 3 people can spend 3 hours going down to the very bottom of the ocean. Sunlight can reach here very well. A large group of fish roams in this warm, bright water. But as we descend, the sunlight will diminish. 16% of sunlight reaches 10 meters deep. Normally, scuba diving to a depth of 40 meters from the surface is considered safe. Diving below 100 meters is playing with death. But Herbert dived even lower to a depth of 214 meters and took home the record. On September 18, 2014, Egypt's ex-army officer Ahmed Gaber broke this record by diving to a depth of 332 meters, almost the same depth as the Eiffel Tower. After the sunlight zone, the second zone, the twilight zone, begins at a depth of 200 meters. And here, sunlight reaches about 1%. And from here begins the origin of all strange creatures, like bloody bellicum jelly. When this jellyfish starts to move, colorful lights flicker on its body. These animals produce light on their own to lure prey in the dark and scare off predators. Blue whales can drive up to 500 meters deep. The world's largest animals can't go any lower than that. Up to 565 meters, the emperor penguin can dive to the maximum depth. Sulfur synthesis does not occur here due to lack of sunlight, so plant algae does not grow here. Further down, 830 meters depth, is the same depth as Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. The water pressure here is 10 times higher than at sea level. The feeling of water pressure here is equivalent to a small car pressing down on a person's head. Descend 1,000 meters and you will reach the midnight zone. This place is completely dark because the sun doesn't reach here anymore. And from here is the real bone-shaking secret of the Sur Sea. The animals here are like scary creatures from a science fiction movie. Transparent body, huge mouth, strange eyes, and big teeth. And the water pressure here is 100 times more powerful than sea level, just like putting 1,499 pounds per square inch on the body. That's the pressure equivalent to an African elephant standing over a fire. Here is an example of how much water pressure there is. This blockfish lives in the midnight zone of the ocean, and their bodies handle the water pressure by floating in the water like this. But whenever they are brought to the surface, their bodies become jelly-like. This block shows how high the water pressure is here. A military submarine hoist can go down to a depth of 1,027 meters. If you go below it, the crack will appear. After descending to 2,000 meters, we will see more dangerous animals, like black dragonfish. Giant squid and sperm whales live below 2,200 meters. Squid grows up to 13 meters long, almost as big as a 2-story building, and their eyes are as big as a dinner plate. Among all the animals on Earth, their eyes are the largest size. Under the sea, between these sperm whales and giant squid, there are sometimes fierce fights. Because of this, when dead sperm whales wash ashore, squid tentacle marks can be seen on their bodies, and their tentacles are sharp like sickles. Further down at a depth of 3,800 meters lies the wreck of the Titanic. If 8 buildings like the Burj Khalifa were lined up in a row, you could go down so much, and the water pressure here is 5,500 pounds per square inch or pounds per square inch, which is equivalent to the pressure of 4 African elephants standing on one finger. On June 18, 2023, when visiting the wreckage of the Titanic, the Titan submarine was impaled by such low water pressure that their bodies were crushed instantly. If we go down to 4,000 meters, we will reach the abyssal zone, and this zone is still unknown to the scientists. Here there exist animals that are not seen anywhere else on Earth. For example, this fingerfish lives at a depth of 4,500 meters. They have a fishing pole attached to their head, which starts watering like a bulb. They use such bright light baits to lure their prey in the dark. The German battleship Bismarck lies at a depth of 4,791 meters. At the time, this ship was the most powerful battleship of World War II. 2,200 Kurus died in the British naval attack. Only 104 survived. But the sea is deeper than that. Hadal zone starts from 6,000 meters. And this zone is the most terrible and mysterious zone of the sea. Because the number of people who have visited the moon is relatively few people have explored this zone. A little further down is 6,100 MITAR internet cables are laid deep. 99% of the traffic on the entire internet passes through this undersea cable. Messages, emails, and even this video of mine. And 90% of the world's oceans are 6,000 meters deep. And the water pressure here is so high that it is equivalent to pressing 7 elephants on a person's head. And if you go down to this depth without any protection, your body will turn to jelly in seconds under the water pressure. But still, life exists here. The DSP Alvin research submarine can reach a depth of 6,500 meters. This is the popular research submarine that helped find the Titanic. Further down at a depth of 8,848 meters, Mount Everest can be seen upside down. Prime maker James Cameron descended 10,898 meters on the Deep-Sea Challenger mission in 2012. And he built a special custom submarine to go that low in the ocean, which has the ability to withstand water pressure so low. But humans first reached the deepest point of the ocean in the 1960s. Don Walls and Jack Pickard spends only 20 minutes at 10,916 meters deep under the ocean floor, because the water pressure was so intense that their windows began to crack. So they have to come back quickly. The water pressure here is so high that 90 elephants stand on tiptoes. A little further down at 36,070 feet, or 11,000 meters, is the deepest point on Earth, which is known as the Challenger Dip. It is the same height as the airplane flies in the sky. If you've ever looked out the window while flying, you'd guess that the deepest point in the ocean is that deep. If Mount Everest was turned upside down, it would still take a few miles to reach the bottom. The terrible darkness, the lack of food, and the bone-crushing pressure prove that the existence of life here is almost impossible. But you will be surprised to hear that such low life exists in the sea. There are all kinds of creatures that look like strange aliens. They are amazingly adapted to sustain themselves under such pressure. As an example, we can talk about this Cinephe. This fish lives in the deepest part of the ocean. 12 inches long and 3 inches thick, this fish can withstand the pressure on its body is beyond imagination. The body area of this fish is 25 square inches, and the pressure at this depth is 16,000 pounds per square inch. This means that this fish's body is supporting 1,700,000 kilograms of weight every moment. That means this fish is moving around here carrying more weight than a Boeing 777, which is a really nice thing. But what is the reason behind this? Unfortunately, this is unknown even to scientists. In fact, it is impossible to research down so low, and when animals are brought up from here, they burst due to low pressure. Note that this is the only deepest point in the ocean found by scientists, as only 5% of the ocean area has been mapped. So there may be even deeper points hidden within the unknown 95% area. And there may be something more terrible waiting to be discovered that is still a mystery to mankind.